Good morning, everyone. It's Ann Hine. I'm doing my impromptu AD Skill Builder 23 today. Oops. Let's turn that off. AD Skill Builder 23 today. We don't need a lot of double extra talk there. So let me put the camera on and say hello to everybody. Well, hello there. Hi Danielle. I do have my comments on so you can comment. And I got to meet Danielle and her daughter, who's very talented, at Houston. And it's so nice to be back in my studio where hopefully everybody can hear me and my signal is good and all those issues you have when you're traveling. And so I had a great time in Houston. It was really, really fun. It's always a long time, for us. We go and we have our setup days and then we have our working days. And I was upstairs in the classroom and I was very lucky to be in Kimberly Imo's classroom the whole time I was there. And she taught Monday through Saturday. And then she packed up. I had a half-day class with another teacher Saturday, and then Sunday we worked the booth, and that's the last day of the show. So it's a longer show than our typical shows. Typical shows might be 3 days, maybe 4, but this was much longer than that. Hello, Susan, and we have Dee and Jermaine watching. I know I won't get very many of you because I kind of threw this together this morning. I wasn't going to do a live. Well, first I was going to do a live, and then I thought yesterday, maybe I shouldn't because I haven't even unpacked and my studio's a mess. But I wanted to go over 2 things with you guys a little bit more. I talked about we did freestanding lace last time. Well, 2 times ago, I believe. So here's my freestanding lace earring. And this is a layered one. I did a large one, and I have a little thread here I need to trim. But I have my large one here. Let me put it on this side. There we go. There we go. And then I have the smaller one that I laid on top. Let me turn it around. And there we go. And then I have a little charm on there too. Now, one of the things I did on this one, on my big orange one, I used the same thread from front and back. I got to figure out where my camera is. There we go. Without it being in front of my face. There we are. So front and back. And then for the little one, I did a different color on the back than on the front. And I think, for certain things, that will give you, it gives you a little bit more color in there without layering in another color. So it sort of weaves the color together so you get to see the background color. So for leaves, I think it works well. There's probably other places you might be able to do that to add a little effect. And sometimes, well, almost every time, when I use a metallic thread for my freestanding lace, I will put a matching regular embroidery thread for the back. I won't use 2 metallics, one in the bobbin and one in the top. So I'll use a regular kind of matching color. Or you could always use, if you were doing like snowflakes or something, you might be able to do, like a metallic on the front, or even, a shiny, shiny white on the front and then a pale blue on the back for your bobbin. So that would add a little bit of maybe dimension to the freestanding lace, so you can try those kind of things out. So the other thing I did is, and I don't have my samples because hi Amy, I was just watching your video on bobbin cases. The other thing I showed you guys was doing the little snap together basket that I did, or whatever, with the thing that said believe on it. And I made 2 of them. I am kind of stuck right now with, not stuck, I shouldn't say that about my 11,000, but I do only have an 11,000 to stitch with. So, you have your hoops are smaller. So I'm used, we're used to, with a 15, we're used to that big hoop. So I didn't make my sample big here at the house, but I took my small one, and then at the show I stitched it out in the 550E in the RE28 hoop, which was the really big hoop. So I made a big one and a small one. My big one I gave to Kimberly Imo, and then my little one I gave to Danielle's daughter. So that was really cute. So I'm going to show you what those look like, and so you can you can start creating those on your own if you want. And I'll probably do another segment on those with different shapes because I just use the Believe. And so I don't forget, and I was going to look this morning to see, oh, Charlotte loves it. Well, thank you, Charlotte. I got to meet Danielle's daughter, and I'm kind of skipping around in a lot of places today, but at the show, I met a lot of people that are on our Facebook page here and also on the Janome Sewing Machine page. So it was really nice to kind of put a face to some of the names because only on my comments do I see, you're a little, if you have your picture on there, I can see your picture there. So it was nice to meet people in person and see people up close and personal. But Danielle and her daughter started watching our videos way back in May of 2020, like we all did, everybody was popping in. And her daughter became a super fan of Kimberly Imo. So it was really cute to watch her, kind of peek in the room and see her up there and then go up and meet her. And Kimberly's, over the top with all of that stuff. And they have some cute pictures of the two of them together. So that was really nice. And we have our fangirl, so that's kind of fun. Which sort of took me by surprise. I was like, okay. But I did have a great time at Houston. It's really fun. And, people go to Houston and they buy lots of stuff. There's fabric you can buy, there's new tools, things like that. And I always buy weird things. I bought a polka dot dress, and I'll wear that one of the days. And, of course, Dot was there, too. So Dot got a same polka dot dress. And funny, we were wearing our matching clothes that one day. And a couple of people, tapped me on the shoulder thinking I was Amy. And when I turned around, I'm like, no, it's me. But I bought, this is weird, I know, I'm going to try to hold it up. I bought a giant safety pin. I love things like this. I'm going to hang it up on the wall in my studio. So I bought this giant, I love safety pins, and my magnet things keep sticking to it. So, I have that crystal safety pin. So now I have this super giant, isn't that funny? This super giant safety pin. I had to cram that in my suitcase to bring it home. So I got that one, a little smaller one, and then a different style. So just kind of funny. All right. So today, or actually yesterday, Janome should have posted to their Facebook page that embroidery I used from Katie Bart's, the Believe. And it says Believe, and it has some snowflakes on it and a little star. So I don't know. I meant to look this morning, and I don't know if I can pull up. I've got my video on over here. Maybe I can go back into Facebook and see if I can find. I have to go to the web page. That's where I have to go. If I can find on the Janome web page the design. So let me see if I can pull it up. Janome.com. So it should be on Janome.com. And let's see if it goes under offers and promotions, if they put it under there. I don't see it there. Let me do a search for Believe and see if anything comes up. I don't see it. So I'm sure they put it up somewhere. Just trying to figure out where they put it is interesting. I'm under Inspire, and I don't see it there. So I'm going to have to find it, and then I will post it to the page, the link to it. I don't know if anybody from Janome is watching right now to see, and if they can pop on, if they can tell me where it is, that would be really helpful. So I don't know. Let me pull this video back up. Why is it coming back up? There it goes. All right. So Dee likes pins too. I know, I like those kind of things. I have a giant measuring stick in my sewing room, and most of this stuff is on when you come in my room, you have to turn and look. So only I see it. So they're just really for me. It's my room. I'm going to do it. And I have one giant red wall, and because I love red. So I have one giant red wall. All right, so let's talk about freestanding lace first. I am going to put my camera on. I have some things sitting here. So I'm going to put the camera on so you can see it. And let's go there. Here we go. So I'm going to pull this hoop down in here. And let me turn this light. Maybe this will, oh, there we go. Fix that light. All right. So here are a couple of things. I'm trying to get it in the right spot that I did with freestanding lace. And let's see if I can lighten it. There we go. Just get my light to come up just a little bit. And I did different passes. I did net fill. So this is what a net fill looks like. This is one pass. And then I did 2 passes over here, and then this is 1 pass in this direction and 1 pass in the other direction. So it fills it in more. And depending on what you're doing with your freestanding lace, this is a decorative stitch down here, which I'm still working on how that's going to work, because it's not connected together. You know, you really have to connect it. I'll hold it up a little, see if I can get the camera to not be blurry, but they have to be connected together. So you need a base to build your freestanding lace, and I find it easiest to use a net fill for that. And I make my shape, and then I fill it with the net fill, and then I can work with the direction of the net fill. You can make the angle of it, you can make the size of the cell smaller or larger depending on what you're working on. And that sets up a really nice base for your freestanding lace. So here's one here. So this one only has, and I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see better. This one only has one layer, and you can see it's kind of pulling in this area over here. It's not as sturdy, and I'll pull this one over. It's not as sturdy as the one that's over here. You can see the difference in those. I'm not saying that you can't use that. I think with this one over here, I would put my cell size closer together if I only wanted 1 pass, and then I could work from there. And so once you have your base, you can work from there and create something on top of your base. Like I did, I brought my leaf shape in, and I used that leaf shape. Let me get these out of the way so you can see. It's hard to see if I turn it flat. You look at the edge, looks bumpy. I put a decorative stitch on top of that satin stitch at the very end because I wanted to add a little bit more dimension to it. So this one, you can see, I'll hold it up here if I can. I got to get it in the right spot so the camera will focus on it. It's still like a little blurry because it's small. But you can see through it. It's a lighter layer, and then I'll pull this one to the side so you can see, and there's a lighter layer on that one. So you have to experiment on what you want to do and what your base is going to be as you build your freestanding lace. And then you can put it on, I'm trying to think if this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. I did this one on organza. So you can see a little bit of the organza on the side. And I used this kind of a thing. This is like a wood burning tool. And the point gets hot, and then I just run it right along here. It's not hot right now, but it just melts that off. So it cleans up your edges. So sometimes using your organza or a netting will really help your freestanding lace too. Then you don't have to build up so much on the background. If you don't want to put so much background stitching in there, you can just have the organza in this area instead of that net fill. So you just have to think about that too. That's a nice base. I do like using that, and I've done that at different times when I've been working with creating freestanding lace. Some shapes to start with if you do maybe like a bookmark is really good. Danielle's going to try those earrings this weekend. These are really, I love these. I wore them to Houston. I wore them at Houston, and I wore them coming home. And even, in the airport, I got compliments on them, and I wore the necklace too. So that was really good. I love unusual things and jewelry. All right, so let's go to the software, and I'm going to show you just a little bit with the creating a shape and putting. Okay, so let's say yes. Oh, let's just clear that out of the way. There we go. Hang on 1 second. All right. And I'm going to go back to the beginning. Here we go. All right, so I brought these up so you could see them, so we'll just open them quickly and you can take a look at them. So I got a little extra window I have to keep moving. In my sequence window, you can see here's one layer of net fill and here's the other one. And let's make this one a different color. Then you can see if you can see it in there. There we go. We can zoom in now. And you can see the 2 layers. So I have my yellow layer going in one direction, and then the orange I just have turned a little bit more. And so we can see in properties, on the yellow one, let's select the yellow one. And in properties, my angle is 21. And then in the orange one, my angle is 69. So you can play with the different angles. And when I start out, I do have everything in different colors so I can keep my layers apart so you don't get lost amongst the layers. I do have an outline stitch around both of these to help support it when it stitches. So let's look at how that's going to stitch first. And you know, it's really, let's see, here we go. It's important to do your stitch out. So here it's going like that. I'm going to make it a little smaller. And then it's going to do, you can see it has the little handle up there. Now it's going to do it, go in that direction. And it's finished up there. It does an outline. So it gives you a little bit more on the edge so that when you build, there's your next one going on. There we go, and that has the pass in each direction. And now it's layering on the embroidery in the center. And I just did an outline with a little zigzag fill on that inside part. So let's go back and look at that. Hang on one second. So if I select this, let's just click off. And over here in the underlay, let me see if I can, why won't you open under, there we go. Whoops. Under underlay, I chose zigzag plus. So zigzag plus is right here. It has the outside edge and then it has a little zigzag in the center. So it gives your, a little more under your embroidery. And those are some other things that you're going to have to think about when you're building your own freestanding lace. That what is underneath your embroidery to start with. You wouldn't want a single line like this. It's not going to give it enough. And I do like the zigzag plus because it gives me the outline stitch underneath this, and then that zigzag, and then the satin stitch up on top. So it lays down a good foundation, and then I can build from there. So you can definitely make a lot of changes to your freestanding lace by adjusting what is underneath in the underlay. All right, so we have that. Now let's talk about this little guy up here. So this is the little handle, and what I did is I just used my digitized outline shape tool, and I clicked it. Let's see, we'll put the nodes back in. I just clicked this sort of U shape, and then I adjusted it to be underneath this part here so that that it would be covered under there and taken care of and attached nicely. So the underlay on that, let's go back up here. I didn't change the underlay on this one. Where is it? So it has the cross, which I like. Let's see if it'll open up. So it had the cross, so it gives the zigzag like that. But actually, zigzag plus might be good for out here too, because it would give it the outline part of it to give it a little sturdiness. A couple of mine when I first started didn't stitch as well, so I made the little loop smaller. If it's too big up there, you do need to add more underlay to it so that it has more to hold it together, because it is just a satin stitch that you're using on there. Okay, so the last thing I did was add the decorative stitch on the outer edge, and you can see that there. I'm going to bring it down here. So there's that. Let me put it another color so we can see it. There we go. And to do that, I just used the shape I already had, like this one here, because it is well, that's actually a satin fill. You can create your outline. You can use the net fill and do a, let's see, convert auto border to the outside. Let's make it running and okay. I'm going to turn that green so we can see it. There we go. And you can see where it's sitting. It's right on the edge there. I'm going to give it a stitch. I don't know which one that one. I think it's 152 is what I picked. Or 153. Here's 153. So you can see it's small here, and I just used my the width here and I made it larger. Let's try 3.0 mm, and it's a little bit bigger, and maybe I went to 9.0, and I just millimeter, there we go. Well, that's much too large. So I would just play around with that part of it. Let's go to 8.0 mm till it was right where I wanted it. And I work in millimeters when I'm with stitches, because for me, when I use my sewing machine, I know what a 9 millimeter looks like. So for me, it's not whether I'm in the US or working in metric. I like to work in metric with decorative stitches because I kind of understand what's going on with them. For some, I'm very visual when I'm working. So for me, this makes sense. There we go. They're coming down, and you can work on the length right here. You can change the length and the offset. So let me delete my extra one, and we'll go back to this one, and you can see here is my width, my I may have offset it earlier, and then I didn't change the length. But if it's sitting on the outside, if you change your offset, you'll see it move. See how it moved inside? So you can move it with the offset. You don't have to make it smaller or larger. Use your offset. Undo here. There you go. Use the offset to put it right where you want it. And you kind of have to play with those numbers a little bit. Every shape is a little different. And layering these stitches like this is a great thing even for applique. A lot of times I'll do that for my applique. I will create a new outline for my applique at the end of my applique to put this stitch on the top of it, and then it really creates some really, really nice effects. All right, before I move on, are there any, do you guys need any questions on this? I'm going to go back and look on the Janome webpage again to see if I can find where they've put that design. I don't see it under projects. Oh, wait a minute. We had embroidery. Let me see if I put in embroidery here. I'm looking. Let's see. We'll do a search. Because we do have some free embroidery designs, and I don't see what they come. Free embroidery. We had some for Halloween, and that's what, if you saw my mask, that's what I used for my mask. There was a spider one. And I'm looking here. Oh, free embroidery designs. There we go. Let's see what's in here. Those are from Alba. Oh, it's loading slowly. And it's not loading at all. Okay, well, I would put in the search for the free embroidery. I would put free embroidery in your search. And now I've lost my comments. There we go. Let's bring this back. And search on the webpage. If I find it, I will post it to here so you guys will have an easy way to find that. And hopefully people are still out there. I can't tell if I still have people out there. And my video is still going on. I think so. I think there's some people there. Okay. All right. So let me show you the Believe, and we'll take a look at that. So that's under, I don't think, oh, here we go. All right. So here is that embroidery I'm talking about. This embroidery is free on the Janome. Thank you, Dee. That's the hard thing. If I don't keep watching my iPad, I don't know if people are still there or not, or if I've lost the signal. Anyways. And I'm a little bit hoarse today from talking. So this embroidery came from Katie Bartz, and she is letting Janome have this design for free. It's downloadable during the month of November, so you can download this and use it however you like. It's really pretty. I did it all as one color one time. I stitched it in Houston for the big for this basket, and you can see the outline of my basket here. Okay, and I'm going to go get my little piece of paper that I used to create this. Hold on one second. All right, so I'm back. I'm going to put the camera on so you can see sort of what it looks like. I have it in paper. So what I did to create this, and you can really do this with any decoration up here that you want. I put believe in there, and then I just drew, kind of around it. Let's select this and I'll put my nodes in. So you can see I put nodes all the way around to make my line. And then I had to think a little bit about making this basket, and I actually made a change to the top of this basket here, and I'm going to make the change here and show you guys how I did that. But then I drew out this shape, all right, and then after I drew the shape, I went up to my print function up here, and I printed out. When you go over here, you can do design only, and I do want it on 2 pages because if I make it 1 page, it changes the scale of it. But you could do it that way if you wanted. You could piece it together or not. So let me put it back to 2. So I printed this out and then I cut it out of paper so that I could play with it physically before I stitch it, because I don't want to stitch it and then have to restitch, and that's a lot of fabric and thread that I have a lot of paper. It's easier for me, and I print on, let's cancel that. I print on both sides of my paper. So anytime we have reams of paper at shows and places like that, I will take that paper home. So let me show you on my webcam. So here's kind of what it looks like in paper. All right. So I'm going to undo this side here. I taped it together to hold it. And I did it in 2 layers of felt. So it's kind of like this, and it's a little wonky in paper because I was just kind of playing with it and trimming and seeing what I need to do. So if I made a trim in the paper, I went back into my design and moved those nodes to create this part of it. Here we go. So you can see the top. Whoops. There we go. So see how that works? Once you get it done, you just fold this up like this and get it to behave. You can fold it up like that, and you can put your cam snaps. You could glue it if you wanted to do fabric glue, if you don't want any snaps. I did snaps so I could lay it flat and use it for travel. And so Kimberly said she will put it out on her table with candy in it. So let me go back to the embroidery side of that so you can see what it looks like. Let's go back there. Here we go. All right, so here's my design. The one thing I changed, and this is an older one, so I'm going to select these notes. The tabs up here, I made them lean out a little bit because I think they needed a little bit more room to get around this part here. And I also lengthened this little spot in here. You have to work with the size of your hoop. I'm pretty maxed here, so I may have to make my basket a little different size, or maybe I need to resize the top. So to move these all at once, what I did is I just dragged my little square around here, trying to just get those. Wait a minute, I want this one. So let's do this. Let's select one, select. I'm doing shift and click, so I have all of them. And then I can just take this and slide it. Let's put this, all right, let's not click in the wrong places here. Let's select again. My computer missed me because I didn't play on it for like a whole week. So there, see how I can pull these out to the side like that? So I can pull those out. But when I pulled all 4 of those, the side here on the left, you see it's going to move the side of it. So I'm going to put it back in here, and I'm going to just take these top ones up here. And then I'm going to use my cursor, click and drag. There we go. So that I can make these move out like that. And then I would do the same over here. And I could use a guideline going across and set in a guideline if I wanted to do a guideline. There we go. I could put a guideline across, so I knew, let's put it up here. I knew how high I wanted to put this, so I would be able to get that right in the right spot on there. So that's how you create these. Let me get rid of the guideline. There we go. The other thing I did is after I got my outline up here, I noticed it, you know, I didn't want an oval. I could have done an oval, but I really wanted just kind of a little shape going around. So I just pulled my nodes in around the different parts to give it that little extra look on the side. And then, of course, on this one, I don't have the stitch picked out yet, but I did a double stitch or a triple on there. And I do that twice. So I'll show you. Let's go back. Once I get it made, this shape here, I want to use that in the beginning and I want to use it at the end. I never knew about this. I know. If you look at, there was a video recently done by Costa and the developer on a Halloween mask, on how to create a Halloween mask. And they use the guidelines in there to create the shape of the mask so you could create that in the hoop. And that gave me the reminder to show you guys that. So make sure you look. I think I moved it into the guides area under AD videos by topic. It should be in there. If not, I think you can search hashtag Halloween or hashtag mask. I'll make sure we put it in there. But they put in like 3 or 4 different guidelines and then just drew their lines between them to make the size you needed. And I think that was, you know, that's using your tools is a great way to go. And I tend to use them now a little bit more when I'm building because, you know, you want your right and left side to look the same and so forth. So when I create this design and when it stitches out, it's an in the hoop thing. So this design here, this part of it, I want to do it twice. So I want it in the beginning, and I'm going to just drag it up like this to the beginning of my design. There we go. There's this little piece right in here. I'm not sure what that is. It's part of the L there. So it's going to stitch when we're in the hoop. You can lay your felt over the whole, put your stabilizer in there, and I used a tearaway. You can use whatever you like. And then you can lay your felt down, and then it'll stitch this outline first to hold everything in place. Then it's going to stitch the believe and all the parts of the believe. And then, oh, wait a minute. I have 2 of these here. Let's make one. Let's undo this and undo again. And undo one more time. For some reason, oh, I know why, because it's a double stitch. Let me do a copy, paste, and make it a different color. That helps. We'll make it green. There we go. And I should be able, no, it's not separating for some reason. All right, let's do this undo. Let's make it one, let's not make it a triple. Let's make it just a line. I'll copy and paste it. See if I can change color of that to get 2 of them. For some reason, oh, let's ungroup them. Group, but ungroup. I want to ungroup. If I ungroup, or maybe I'll just make another outline. I can come up here to my auto border because it needs a beginning stitch and a ending stitch. Let's make that one orange. For some reason, it keeps putting them together for me. It's just being difficult. But, and maybe this is, no, it's, so you would want to have your outline at the beginning and another one at the end. So you would stitch the outline, stitch all your decorative parts. I had a little inset in here too, and then it would stitch that outer one. Let me see if I have it on my welcome page. I don't see it. I think that's the one we have open. Nope, that's my, see, I did a Santa hat with the believe in it. So maybe it's in my browser. Let's go back. Let's go to this one. I have 2 sticks in here today. Believe, there we go. And There it is. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, that's the JPX. That's not what I want. One more try. I need the draw file. I just brought in the JPX. Let's see here. Here we go. Basket Jeff, basket draw. Here we go. All right. So here we have, if I can get my little window out of the way. I have my outline, and I'm going to use it to tack down the beginning. It's going to stitch everything, and then it'll do the ending part right there. So I think, so what you do is you're going to stitch everything, and then you're going to put the, before you stitch this last outline, you're going to slide your felt underneath your hoop and stitch this part so that it makes the, all of this embroidery is covered up, so your embroidery is nice and neat on that part of it. So let's go back here and I'll answer any questions. I'll hold up for a moment. I'm going to put the webcam back on and see if anybody has any questions or comments about what we talked about today. So that top part, this part up here that I'm talking about, this part, you know, you could make any, you could put a star up there, you could put a tree, you could put a gingerbread face and have the arms coming around. There's lots of little things you can do with this. You could put someone's name up there and give it as a gift. I was thinking too, if you did a heart shape, and you could put the names of, like if you're going to a shower or you're going to do a bridal shower or even a baby shower. Wouldn't that, a diaper pin up there would look, you know, I have this thing about pins, I can't help it. But if you're doing a bridal shower this spring, you could put like maybe 2 hearts together and put the names and the date of the wedding. And that would make a nice little gift. You don't have to make it as big as the hoop. They could be smaller. That would make a nice little gift to put on the tables either at the bridal shower or maybe even at the wedding, depending on how big the wedding is. And you don't have to use felt. You can use fabric. That outer edge, you don't have to do, I used just a running stitch. You could use a decorative stitch. You could use a satin stitch. So you could make it an applique on the outside. So you could tear away your stabilizer and it would have like a patch. It would have that a nice edge on there too. So there's so many possibilities with this little design. I think it's great that you know, you guys can take it and run with it, the little basket part, and then you're welcome to use the believe part once I figure out where Janome has put it on the page. We can find it from there. I think that's everything. Any questions? I'm going to see if there's any questions over here. I'll wait for just a moment because it's a little lag for questions to come over. And for those of you, if you're just joining now, this is a very impromptu live. I couldn't make up my mind if I think I put it on my schedule and then I decided, oh, coming back from Houston, it's just going to be too many things to do. And this morning someone said, oh, I'll see you on the live. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll do it. So what the heck? And I miss everyone. It's very hard when I travel. And I don't travel that much. It's very hard when I travel. I can only like do it on my phone or late at night in my hotel room. I can check in to see what everybody's doing. Oh, I know. We do have a lot of new people joining our page. And there's 2 comment sections going on now. One was posted by a member having difficulties using the software, and several people have posted underneath the woes of, you know, I don't know where to start, or I don't know how to start, or I'm having an issue. And some of those people have the junior program, and some of you have the full program. So I do suggest, if you're new, to go to guides, and that's at the top of our page. If you look at the top where that blue banner is, just below it where the member pictures are, there's a word that says guides. Go ahead and click on guides, and in there are all the support materials that we've had for our page. So there's a plethora of things in there. So take a look at that. And the AD Skill Builders, I typically put a class notes section, and I normally post it the morning of the live so you have it for the live. So today's live I didn't do that because we were sort of doing a review. I might make some class notes and just pop it in later when I move the video into the guides. The other thing is, I thought this morning, because a lot of people were asking, they have the junior program, and I don't do a lot with junior. The 2 programs they look the same. The difference is the junior program has less tools. So on that left-hand side, you're going to find less tools. In your right-click menus, you won't see some of the tools that I use for the full program. So this morning I was thinking that maybe I should do an AD Skill Builder Junior or AD Junior Skill Builder, something like that, so that those people who have junior, I could do some specific ones just for the junior group, so they'll be able to see what they can do with their software. But if you have junior, continue to watch. You may want to upgrade, and there is an upgrade kit to move your software from junior to full program. And there's some specials going on right now. And we are I am from the U.S. side of Janome, but we are a global page, really. We have people from all over the world on our page. So the pricing, the offers are all different wherever you are. So I suggest you talk with your Janome dealer, your retailer, and see, is there an upgrade available, a special maybe for the holiday season, or what are the specifics with the upgrade. Sometimes we are bundling the junior program with a machine purchase, so some people get it along with that, and then some people might have purchased just junior over the full program. So by watching the lives, you can see the difference between your program and theirs. But I am going to start looking at mapping out a way to do a junior, maybe AD junior skill builder. So if people think that's a good idea, let me know, and we'll go from there. And I appreciate all those people who jump on and say how much they like the videos and how they're helping them learn the software. That really just melts my heart, because I think the videos are pretty good. Sometimes I'm chatty, but there's a way you can forward through that part. You don't have to actually look at that part, and you can always stop a video and go back, so it works out good. Put it on your iPad, or if you have some kind of other tablet, you can run it on the tablet and then have the software open so you can follow along at the same time. Okay, and the last thing I've kind of toyed with, and I don't know, I may have to wait till after the first of the year. We have a lot of things between now and Christmas that Janome will be putting out. So as far as projects and things like that, so I probably won't do it until after the first of the year. But some people mentioned trying to do a live class. And I did a live class like this, and it was a little difficult because I can't, it's hard for you to raise your hand and say, I'm lost. You have to type, you have to watch and type in. So I may try to do a Zoom class, and maybe we could do an introductory Zoom class and see how that would go. There's lots of possibilities, lots of things we could try. I just need to invent more time in the day. Once you figure that out, let me know. All right, everybody, I'm going to let you get going. I think I gave you a few things to play with today. I will be live Thursday from the Janome Sewing Machine page, so that's the other page that I'm on, so make sure you pop over there. It's 3 p.m. Eastern. I think we're still Eastern Daylight until this weekend, and then we'll change over on that. I have to look at my schedule. They've switched up what I'm doing, so I'm confused now what I'm supposed to be doing. So we'll see. It'll be a surprise, whatever it is. All right. So everyone have a great day. I'm going to go take my giant safety pin, and I'm going to, isn't it? It's just so big. It's huge. So I'm going to take my giant safety pin and hang it up in here. I'm going to get someone to get the ladder, and they're going to hang it up for me. And I got to clean my studio. So you guys have a great rest of the day. Get out there, open your software, create some things, post your creations to the page. I love to see them. You inspire me. And it's amazing how much you guys inspire me. I sometimes get, project blockage. So post your things, post your questions. Lots of us will help you. Have a great day. Bye for now.